last stream, we covered the Dr. Disrespect drama, found more about it through Ludwig's video, and today we got the twit longer. I think if you're watching this video, you have already read this tweet right here, but just to summarize it, essentially Dr. Disrespect made a 1,000-character, 9-paragraph essay tweet addressing the allegations that the reason why he got banned was because he was Twitch whispering minors. Long story short. And he said, you know, he's gonna take accountability in this tweet right here. He's admitting to messing up. He's admitting to not being perfect, but you know, to everyone who's gonna put these crazy labels on him about his character and who he really is and the type of women that he likes, y'all can go eat crow. You know what I'm saying? And in 2024, he is a different man than who he was in 2017. But the one quote that really, really stood out, that I think put a nail in the coffin for everyone on this, is, where is it, man? Where is it? I think right here. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were the real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Okay, so I ain't gonna lie, when I read that, I'm like, okay, I mean, sounds like he Twitch whispered a minor, but did you say anything crazy? No. But then I kept reading. He says, these were casual mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. I really need to know what he means by inappropriateness in this regard. But to say, all right, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, back in 2017, I was whispering a minor on Twitch. Most of the time, nothing was really going on, but sometimes it just got a little inappropriate. It just got a little edgy. Like, what does that mean? I need more clarification on that. He'll probably not clarify that for legal reasons. But this part right here is really what set the internet on fire. You know what I'm saying? Furthermore, he says nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. And long story short, he keeps on going. And he closes it off by saying, finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of shit, that's fine. But I'm not fucking going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family, as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight on my off my shoulders. Excuse me. They want me to disappear. Yeah, fucking right, pussy. But yeah, coming from the clip that we watched yesterday, this just confirms a lot of the things that we talked about. This idea of whether we like it or not, on the internet, it is guilty. Not on the internet, but just in the court of public opinion, it is guilty until proven innocent. Unfortunate or fortunate as that sounds. And I think even in this tweet, he's saying like, yo, I never got charged for anything. Did I make mistakes? But, you know, and just the way he's moving, man, until his name gets legally cleared in the court, for not doing the things he's alleged, yeah, to the rest of the internet, You are a diddler. You are one of them ones. And I would even say in 2024 specifically, the internet has gotten kind of loose with like who they cancel. I think even if you cancel someone, there's going to be like another community that accepts you. And there still might be. But essentially what I'm saying is like if you get canceled for something edgy, like the red pill dudes are going to pick you right up. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the biggest example of this was the Trevor Lawrence looking lady just saying the N-bomb and going on a press run by conservative media. But I do think if there is one thing that both sides do not play with, if there is one thing that is universally cancelable, it is the PDF file case, man. It is this allegation. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet did not play with EDP. The internet does not play with this shit on both regards, because one thing I found out today too, chat, was how old he was. Not that if he was younger, it justifies it, but the only leeway I may have even given him was like, you know, the 19-year-old talking to the 17-year-old. Bro, how old is Dr. Disrespect? This dude is 42 years old. This dude, this man, this family man, this father is 42 years old. Back in 2017, if y'all know how to do quick maths, he still would have been 35 at that time. So you can't really give the excuse of, I was just a young kid at that time that didn't really know what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I've grown up since then. It was just like 2017, like 2017 comparing that to 2012 internet. 2017 is still closer to 2024 internet than 2012 internet. You know what I'm saying? But doing the things he was doing at 35? Nah. But Omar, why does Omar got the gloves? Omar did make a video on this. I want to see his reaction to this. Let's get it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite pediatric doctor has officially openly admitted to doing what we all thought possibly could.
Come on, Omar. Come on, man. Come on, gang.
Or couldn't be. The speculation is done. Dr. Disrespect has admitted to texting minors on the Whisper app. This is crazy. So last time we reported the news, there was an ex-Twitch employee who came out and said a very vague message that wasn't directly pointed at Dr. Disrespect, but a lot of people were making their assumptions and guessing and things like that. Even the doctor.
What makes it even weirder, because what does a 35-year-old have to talk about with a 17-year-old? I mean, if it's on some gaming shit, like I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. Like if you're a gaming content creator and you're just talking to minors about the game, how, like, even like, I don't know, like let's say I'm 35 in the NBA community, I'm talking to Eli about basketball. Like I don't think there's anything appropriate about that. But obviously I don't think that's what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? So
decided to respond to said messages or to whatever by kind of just dispelling any types of rumors. However, since then, so much has evolved. It started with him and his own media company having to separate ways because of vagueness. To be honest with you, there wasn't really any understanding of what was going on. But what I will say is there was heavy speculation about news being dropped today, and we finally got that. But before we get into that, I want to be known that Dr. Disrespect put out a message which had a lot of people highly concerned or just questioning everything that was said. So honestly, I want to jump into that first before anything. This reads, the Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now.
Let's go skip
first and foremost, everyone at the Dark Vision and tells us that something, again, that is never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Now, again, that is all very vague, still being vague, but he's going to get into it. But this tells us that something deeper is going on here. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned on Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years, which we can believe had to do with the court cases. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely.
Oh yeah, that was another thing too. I think in the last the tweet we just read from Twitter, I believe the word minor was taken out. It was edited. I don't even know why you would do that though, because I don't know if Dr. Disrespect knows how Twitter Blue works, but we got a history of the version posts and like what changes you made. Like I don't know what Dr. Disrespect was trying to get away with, but nah, like we knew what you was doing. Like what?
Not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I've never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have never been brought against me. Now, what's very interesting about this paragraph is because over the past couple of hours, as this story has been developing, Dr. Disrespect has taken out and put back in the word minor, which could be a couple of different things. People who see this at different times may see the word minor or not see the word minor, but I just find it very interesting that he's still being what I would consider very sneaky at this time. Another thing to note, where there were no real intentions behind these messages, but what we do know from the words of some of the people involved in this situation is that Dr. Disrespect planned on meeting up with this minor with no disclosed age at the time at TwitchCon. Now, what were you doing sending inappropriate messages and then also planning to meet up with them? That sounds like a case for Chris Hansen with the doctor if I've ever seen one. And then last but finally not least, him saying nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. It's very interesting that he worded it this way because criminally speaking, you know, you may be able to say some things, but taking that next step of having...
Yeah, because the conversation might have been like, you look pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say a 17-year-old girl is pretty is not a crime, right? But we can all understand that that is still not an illegal thing that happened. But we know that's some inappropriate thing as a 35-year-old at that time to say to a 17-year-old. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? Planning to meet up with a 17-year-old isn't necessarily illegal, right? But with the context of everything going on, let's just say the messages look something along the lines of, yo, you look cute today. When you gonna be on Twitch? When are you gonna land at TwitchCon? Let's meet up. Now that's when, all right, bro. Okay, technically speaking, nothing you sent was illegal, but we know where this is heading. You know what I'm saying? We know where this is heading. Via Woj, Dr. Disrespect was just put in a 2-man trade with Diddy to come over to Toronto to start a crazy big... Stop, bro. Stop, bro. And also, don't take that shit out of context, bro. Don't take that shit out of context.
You know, intention of sexual act is where things become illegal. But you can say specific things that are inappropriate, as he acknowledged, and it still not be illegal. Yeah. Legality does not mean morality. Like, morally, he knows that these things were wrong. They just weren't illegal. Which, again, still lets us know that you were disgusting. Now, hold on. I have to interrupt here. Now, there's a lot of things going on.
What? Yo, offline Omar's a funny guy, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. Cause us, like, we know Omar and how he talks on a podcast, but offline Omar's a funny guy, man. I ain't gonna lie.
mean morality. Like morally, he knows that these things were wrong. They just weren't illegal, which again, still lets us know that you were disgusting. Now, hold on. I have to interrupt here. Now, there's a lot of things going on and a lot of speculation and conversation about the lawsuit that happened after Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch. And you see, from what we can gather, it does stem from this incident. Now, where the conversation is starting is the people think that, why did we wait so long to hear about this news? Why 4 years? Well, what I believe happened is Dr. Disrespect was messaging this young lady on Twitch Whispers, which has been confirmed. That's a fact. But Twitch Whispers wasn't either 100% transparent about how they were collecting data, and it might have got a little bit murky. Plus, a wrongful termination might have led to some sort of lawsuit. There was a contract in place, I'm assuming. So it got really murky that it needed to be brought to court. I believe in
not to protect nasty motherfuckers like Dr. Disrespect, but again, this is just a PSA for everyone out there. Because all of us use DMs, use all of this. None of this is private. None of this is private. All right? I'm not telling y'all this to get a sneaky ass method to get away from the shit. But please, just for everyone using the internet, the only private conversation that I consider private is a man-to-man conversation in person. Everything is on a server. Everything is stored somewhere. Everything can be recorded. Everything can be screenshotted. So please, for the love of God, do not say something. Just obviously do whatever the fuck you want, but just know that in the back of your head. And if you're not willing, and if you're not ready to deal with the consequences that come with your leaked DM, with your DMs being leaked, just don't do dumb shit behind the fucking scenes, bro. Don't do dumb shit behind the scenes.
In that lawsuit, there was clear recognition that, hey, we're looking at your messages, which could potentially be wrong. And then Dr. Disrespect also being found to have been texting the minor, which is also wrong. So in that case, both parties kind of said, we'll let things be, bygones be bygones. We'll cut your contract, of course, but we won't tell. You'll have to pay out X amount of dollars, or we'll have to pay out X amount of dollars, et cetera, et cetera. We'll sign these agreements and documents that say, because this isn't a criminal case or because this is some civil lawsuit or whatever the case may be, we will not disclose the information of this. Now, is that right or is that wrong? That's up for you to determine, but that is the law. So it's not crazy to believe that they were sitting on this for this long, not because they wanted to protect Dr. Disrespect, but because legally they could not do it, or else they'd be subject to a new lawsuit. But let's get back into the story. He goes on to say, now from a moral standpoint, I'll take absolute responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll fucking own my shit. That was stupid. This is very interesting because we've seen Dr. Disrespect go on live stream before after being caught cheating on his wife to openly admit it and then cry and break down and stuff like that. And then for you to come on here and repeat the same actions with a minor, you say you don't have intentions, but honestly, after what we've been seeing and hearing for the last couple of days, I'm gonna think that everything that you say is a lie until proven otherwise. So you repeating those same actions again gives me more reason to believe that you're bullshitting even in this statement. Now, with all that being said, don't get it fucking twisted. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I am no fucking predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on these things with those types of people. Fuck that. That's a different level of disgust that I'm fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggeration. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And we'll go on to finish that in just 2 seconds, but what I do want to say here is people are labeling you that Dr. Disrespect because you were texting a minor. Now, does that word get thrown around casually? Of course. However,
I think a lot of these labels just get thrown around so loosely. So I do agree with Dr. Disrespect on that, but it's kind of warranted, gang. I don't know, bro. Because to me, like, to label someone a pedophile, bro, like, we're talking about someone that, like, that's what they're attracted to. Like, young minors is what they're attracted to. Like, that is their preference. That is, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, a lot of these labels do get tossed around a little too casually nowadays. But
based off of the actions that you had on that Whisper app, that is probably an appropriate label for what you were planning to do, not what you did because you didn't get to do it. So you're playing the deniability game because you didn't actually get to finish the act. But if your 6'8" ass was allowed to go to TwitchCon and meet up with this young girl without being caught first,
he's 6'8"?
pretty sure you would have done those actions or whatever the case may be. I also find it kind of interesting because he claims that he keeps it straight up, but I know you have the text messages or you have screenshots of those things. Put it all out there. Let us be the judge of who you are and what you are not and what you should be labeled. Don't hide behind the veil of legality, which we know cannot tell the true story all the time because of maybe the way that the evidence was obtained or some legal thing. Don't leave it so vague. If you are really about being upfront with all of it, put the screenshots out there. And let's be clear, I do believe that the screenshots are going to come out. I think that this is a perfect time for him to get in front of that. But because he's not getting in front of that, it's going to be very troubling and even worse for him when those things do come out to the light. And again, to the validity of those text messages, Bloomberg put out an article today that kind of prompted him to get ahead of this by saying these were explicit messages. Now, again, if Doc was being very transparent with us, explicit is very interpretable. He would be at the forefront saying what was said and what wasn't said. But we can also see in that Bloomberg article, because that's where we got it from, he planned on meeting with this minor after sending explicit messages at TwitchCon. If you're gonna be upfront, you need to be wholeheartedly upfront, because this right here is truly your last chance before those messages come out. Now, maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he knows these messages will never come out. But again, that's very disgusting, Doc. One of the things that he's...
Yeah, I think... I agree with the sentiment that, like, motherfuckers make mistakes over their life. People can learn from mistakes over their life, so attaching certain labels on people is crazy. But I also think, even though this may be a one instance in his life, once you find out that whoever you're talking to is underage and you continue that conversation the way you continue it, at that point, this wasn't like a mistake that you realize, oh, for it, boom, I shouldn't be doing this, and I just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? That's a mistake that you realize at one point is a mistake. You realize at some point what you're doing is wrong, especially if you're in a relationship. What you're doing is wrong, and you just continue that conversation. So again, when throwing around labels, I am more so not a fan, but I'm more so like, I'm looking at repeated behavior. In a case like this where the conversation is repeated behavior, that's when I'm like, ugh.
He said at the end of his monologue about what happened, this Declaration of Independence for him, I don't know why he feels like this is such a freeing experience when you're still not being transparent, is he apologizes to those that supported him. We talked about Nick Merckx when he said what he said publicly to say, hey, we got to stay in the middle. There's no evidence, blase, blase, blah, which is fair. It shouldn't be innocent until proven guilty, but we know that we're dealing with the court of public opinion. So with these things being said, you should not defend any of these guys, even if you claim that they're your friends. And Nick Merckx wasn't the only one. Brandon Morris put out a tweet that says, I don't believe the allegations against Dr. Disrespect. No evidence he texted the minors, no criminal charges, fired Twitch employees saying this is true, and goes on to basically defend him. No victim. Of course, there's no victim. This is a child. Me personally, even if it was my friend, somebody that I knew, and it's kind of weird because these people are on different sides of the internet, but even if it was somebody I knew and these were heavy allegations being brought against them, smoke becomes fire very, very fast. So people like Brandon and Buff Gamer, who also went out there to defend them, and Nick Merckx, who also defended them, there's egg on your face wholeheartedly in this situation. And the writing became clearer on the wall as people started to disconnect themselves with Dr. Disrespect.
Go take that break, bro. Go reevaluate your whole life and shit. Why you unfollowed him? I don't know, chat.
And even Dr. Disrespect himself saying on stream that he was going to take a break from streaming and ride off into the sunset.
When I say step away, I'm gonna have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too.
I don't like Nick Merckx defending him. I thought he denounced like his friendship with Dr. Disrespect. I thought that's what he did, and that's like proof to me that, like, again, bro, because I think Nick Merckx has gone a little bit red pill lately, and he's leaning towards like the conservative side of things. Like, again, like PDF file shit, people just do not play with that on both sides of the fence, man. So yeah,
just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do. I'm telling you, it's fatigue. It's tired, wanting to just kind of move away from the limelight.
Now, mind you, he contradicted himself in his statements by saying, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. But Doc, you need to sit down and you really need to reflect.
I feel like I've heard for so long, people say that they were worried about like potential lawsuits or whatever bullshit. This story has been known since basically Dr. Disrespect got banned.
If you guys don't know, Midnight Society, which is the game that Doc helped build, did their own investigative research behind the scenes, found enough evidence to let him go. A settlement, no matter what it looks like publicly, it usually means someone did something.
Now, I agree with what Ninja is saying here, and I'm gonna echo those sentiments. Usually in situations where there's a settlement, means that there isn't some legal reason that we may be able to pursue you, or it'll be hard to pursue, but morally we all understand that this is wrong or unethical or whatever the case may be. And the fact of the matter is, if this got out to public opinion, this is the best way to squash it, is by saying that we settled in these situations. This is very reminiscent of the P. Diddy situation that happened earlier this year with the whole Cassie thing. You remember Cassie came out, made her claim, P. Diddy vehemently denied it, and then ultimately evidence was released to back what Cassie was saying, but people were kind of off that train because, oh, a settlement was made, the victim didn't pursue, etc., etc. Sometimes it's hard to pursue those cases. We have to understand settlement most often can mean that something happened. So even in the P. Diddy case, both of them had to step down from the companies that they own. The evidence got released and they had to issue public apologies. I mean, these are literal mirrors of what's happening. The only thing that happened differently in the P. Diddy case is the actual video came out. But I have no doubt in my mind that those messages will come out with what happened with Dr. Disrespect and that minor specifically. And just like in the P. Diddy case, we are seeing people cut ties with Dr. Disrespect before it gets even more nasty, and I expect more to come from this. Robert Bowling, a former business partner of his, is saying that he's dealing with situations. I don't even want to participate in anything that has to do with him. Turtle Beach is seemingly cutting ties with Dr. Disrespect, his own company as well. We'll see how YouTube, we'll see how the NFL, we'll see how some of these other partners of this 6'8" freakazoid deal with him as the days come. But ultimately, this is something that he deserves. There's no place or space in this world for people to be texting minors as a grown ass man. And to Dr. Disrespect, if you have the chance to hear this, I'm telling you right now, go ahead and release the messages as to what's been said so that people can get a better understanding before somebody else tells your story for you. Now, I don't think it'll make you any better in the light, but I think the continued lying, what I believe to be lying, will only make you look worse. It'll only make the doctor look like a fraudster in the end.
W bars, man. But yeah, nah, this yeah, bruh. That's tough. That's tough right there, man. I think Doc, I'll be honest, man, I never really watched his fucking content. So is he changing my content landscape? No. But I do know he has been a relatively big figure over these last couple of years. I do know he has inspired like a decent amount of content creators as well. But nah, man, got a weird case. Why is he around? Type shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's crazy.